101 experiences. What is it? An organization dedicated to creating tourism experiences and promoting Northern Ontario. How or what? By creating inspiring interviews. Having worked myself in the tourist industry, I will introduce you what are my favorites. Are you ready now? Here are my inspiring interviews. Hi, my name is Nick Jodin-Amour, and welcome to this inspiring interview to Eric Covington from Pre-Smile Arts Center. I'm glad and I'm happy to meet you and to receive you as well. First of all, I want to thank the one that financed it, the Niska Leadership Center, and the targeted for people that want to try to open a business. And I won't say try because I'm sure they will succeed to open a business in the tourism sector, precisely the experience sector, as we're doing myself and Eric, of course. So Eric, welcome. How are you doing, Eric?
Oh, fine, thank you.
I'm happy to. I'm really happy to meet you, and I'm really happy to have you on board here. You're one of the famous persona on Facebook, on Airbnb, of course. I'm sorry for the lapses. And yes, of course. And you doing glass blowing experience. Please, first of all, before talking about the glass blowing experience, please talk to me about your what was your lifestyle or your bio? What did you do before doing this whole thing?
I was a public school failure. They sent me to a technical high school. I managed to get into university, and then I dropped out. There's my educational background. So I'm an education system failure. The whole problem is I'm dyslexic. They didn't have a word for that when I was young, but anyway. I ended up spending my life doing electrical engineering. I'm not actually an electrical engineer because I dropped out, but I spent my life doing electrical engineering of various varieties, mostly in telecommunications. So at the end of my career, I was doing internet providing. We built some fiber optic networks. And I guess I've been an entrepreneur since I was 15, when I was buying and selling used radio equipment.
Not long time ago, Eric.
9 years ago.
Thank you so much for your honesty, transparency, and of course vulnerability. I want to tell you as well. I'm a university dropout as well. So I finished university as well. And I think it's really important. I've received many people on this panel, and some people finish university, some people did well in university, and some people just drop out and finish or end up as much and has as much success than a person with or without a degree. What I want to ask you now, Eric, how did you find the love in glass blowing? For me, glass blowing, it looks like an ancient art, something that I don't have access to. Why did you really found the love of glass blowing?
I guess my path is a bigger question is my path in the arts, because I think of myself as an engineer, and engineers and arts generally don't go together. What happened was I was 57 and we sold our last company out. And so now I'm retired and looking for trouble. We took a trip across Canada. My way of getting out of the business was I finished with my existing business and then told my ex-employees, because now they were working for a new company, I'm not on the cell phone because I'm going up to the Yukon. No reception. So you're on your own. We took our motorhome across Canada for 3 months. And along the way in Sudbury, I met a rock carver. And all my life, I've always collected rocks. So he taught me how to carve hard rock. I got into jade carving. One of my jade carving mentors, was a lady in British Columbia. I've only ever talked to her on Facebook. I've never met her. But she said, I carve rock like a native,
Oh.
an indigenous person. And she said, you need to learn how to blow glass so you can get a bubble of hot glass and squish your rock into it so that it has to make a mount, because all of my pieces would be, they're made, when she said carved like a native, what she meant was all the native carvings you find around the world will not have a flat spot, which you can then set them up on a mantelpiece and have it sit upright. They are all meant to be held in your hand and observed that and felt and touched that way. So she said, you know, in order to make your pieces stand up properly, you've got to learn to blow glass so you can make a bubble of glass so the light can get underneath and shine through the carving and show it off. I carve jade now, so that's why, and I like to carve it very thin so you get this beautiful green thin material, which is solid jade. So I started to learn glass blowing. I took a glass blowing class on my 60th birthday.
68 or 60?
60.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow.
I was taking a carving course at the Ottawa School of Art, and I saw that there was a chance to take a 2-day glass blowing class. So I signed up for my birthday because it was my birthday. 20 minutes after I made my first little paperweight, a little thing about that big around, and I made the paperweight, and then I turned to the instructor and I said, how much to build my own studio? Glass blowing was not something I was trying to learn how to do, it's something that sort of found me. And I always warn my students when they start glass blowing, this is not a hobby, this is an addiction. Very expensive addiction.
And I like the fact that you say the dreams found you. That's what you said?
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And why, or not maybe why, but what does it mean for you, the dream found you?
Say that again, please.
What does it mean, the dream found you?
Well, I was just wandering along in life, looking for the next challenge. Well, not really looking for the next challenge, waiting for it. And then when I realized how much fun it is to hold hot liquid glass in my hand and shape it into something unique, I got an adrenaline rush. I mean, this is actually, whenever I blow glass, before I start blowing glass, I get this little adrenaline high. And when I'm blowing glass, I'm in the groove and nothing, you could put a bomb off beside me and I wouldn't flinch. Afterwards, I relax and it's sort of, and that's when the endorphins kick in.
Okay.
I'm very familiar with this. This is, I manufacture my own chemicals in my brain. Your brain does this all the time. I used to race the sports cars and I would get the same thing. Before a race, you're all wired up and full of energy and whatnot. During the race, you're just doing your thing. After the race,
and you have the same feeling.
The same feeling, and it is very addictive. My wife tells me if I'm away from glass blowing for more than a week, she says, time to go glass blowing, isn't it? More than 2 weeks, she'll kick me out of the house and say, you go glass blowing because you're driving me crazy.
And did you start when you told me that you started at 68th birthday, and you started your first class, and after what happened, when was the time for you to take this hobby to a business?
I kicked around the glass blowing community for a few years. Let's see, from 2011 is when 2008 is when I first started blowing glass until 2000. So for 3 years. For 3 years, I was kicking around the community with being what's known as a weekend warrior. I would either rent a studio for a weekend or take a weekend class at one of the CEGEPs, or once I took a week-long class at Halliburton College. So I would go and do glass blowing for 2, 3, 7 days, that sort of thing, not owning my own studio. One glass blower was going out of business and wanted to sell its studio. We came to a very good arrangement, and I bought the equipment, and then I said, okay, now what am I going to do? I had a truck full of equipment. No, I had 3 truckfuls of equipment and no place to put it. So I set up my first studio. The one I'm in now is my second studio.
Please just remind us, if it's not too personal, at what age were you when you bought the truck full of equipment?
Well, I retired when I was 57. So I would have been, well, 2008 is when so I was 59 when I found glass blowing. And when I set up my own studio, I was, have to do the math here. I said 50, 58, 59, 62.
62. So you start really the business at 62. Yeah. It's incredible. Wow. Congratulations. Congratulations, man. At 62 starting a business. Another one. Were you scared or were you afraid of something, anything?
Well, it's a bit odd because I've started many businesses. I'm what's known as a serial entrepreneur. So I started many businesses. And the thing I was scared of was it becoming a business. I wasn't scared of business. I was scared of it becoming a business. And when my wife was always my business partner, and when we retired and sold our last business, she looked over to me and she said, now, if you want a quick divorce, just ask me to run another business.
But you are still together.
Oh, yeah. That's because I didn't ask her to run another business. So my wife has appreciated that, I'm sure. So that's why I say my fear was it would become a business, because this really was a hobby, an addiction. And I realized I had this truck full of equipment. I had an addiction, and I'm a bit of an introvert in my regular life. So I didn't want anybody coming to my house to meet the glass blower. I have lots of room. I live on the land. I have a farm, and I could have put a building there and put my studio in there and done it by myself. But the problem is people then learn that there's a glass blower in town, so they want to come out and visit him. I don't want people driving up my driveway. So that's why I said, okay, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it in public. So I made an arrangement to rent this building and then set up my studio in here. So when I come here, I change from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde, and I put on my extrovert persona, and here we are talking.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's great. That's a really great story.
It's really all about knowing what you want.
Yeah, that's right. Knowing what you want is really important as well.
More importantly, knowing what you don't want.
But one wise woman told me, my mom told me that she still don't know what she wants, but for sure she know what she doesn't want. So I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. I don't know who to believe to. Do I believe Eric or do I believe my mom? Don't tell my mom, I'll believe you, Eric. Now, I want to ask you something. When we talked earlier, we talked about some stuff, and something struck me, and I was really amazed by it. It's about governance. You told me that you applied and you trying to implement politics right away in your business. Can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. And here I go back to my business background. When I first got into business, my first business, I made a mistake. We were three engineers in the basement. We were building computer systems. And we were three engineers in the basement. We didn't know anything about management. We didn't know anything about accounting. And so one of us had to do the dirty work. That was me. So I stopped being directly involved in the engineering, and I was more involved with sales and accounting and business management. One of the things I did was I hired a business manager who was in education unto himself. He was the master of mismanagement. He would create a crisis so he could be seen to be solving the crisis. That was my one business failure in life. That company we finally had to shut down just because it was so burdened by all the ill will this person created that I just couldn't continue. I learned a lot from that. And so then after that, I got involved. I had a proper board of directors with my second business, which involved the person who is still my accountant and a technology leader in the business. He was my grandfather's age. He was an older man. And this is all when I'm in my early 20s. And the thing that they most strongly enforced into our businesses is that we have what he calls good governance. That means you have clearly defined rules, roles, and responsibilities for everybody. You're all answerable. Now you have to define what these are.
Oh my God! Preach.
In this business, I've said that. In fact, in all of my businesses, I've said that one of my rules is we're going to have a horizontal hierarchy, meaning there is no hierarchy. I might be the person who puts the money up for the bank loan or something, but that doesn't make me any smarter than one of my technicians who's doing the computer systems.
It's amazing. Amazing.
Everybody has to have equal say, and they can say anything.
I'm totally agreeing with you on that point. Thank you so much.
It's really, the governance speaks to how you want to run your business. What is the nature of the karma of your business? Once you've established that, then that's the foundation of the business.
I love the way you say the karma of the business. That's right. A good business karma can attract a lot of good business. It's a reflection of yourself, a business too as well. So maybe people should think about it as well. A business, it's a reflection of yourself. And I put everything I put in my experiences, it's a part of myself. I put it out there, even for diversity, for inclusion. And let's not talk too much about me, but for you, inclusion and diversity, what does it mean in everyday business life?
I guess I would say I'm passive on that issue, in that inclusion isn't an issue because I'm blind. I'm deaf. I don't hear. I don't see people. I don't hear people. It's the personality that matters. It's who they are, how honorably they behave. So I don't care what you look like. You can be a purple Martian. It doesn't matter so long as you treat me honorably and with respect. It's all about honor and respect. And I guess a lot of people, I've been accused of being very Zen Buddhist about it.
Being accused of that?
I have no real religion particularly. It's a set of ethics that I will behave under. And I've been accused of being a good Christian. Well,
great.
That's fine
great.
too.
That's great. That's great. That's excellent. That's excellent. Please don't change. Please don't change.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need labels. We just need to all act ethically.
Of course, of that. I'm totally agreeing with you again. I want to ask you a question about now. How did you get on Airbnb?
Ooh, that was fun. It happened fairly early in the development of this little business. I was surfing the net one day, and I came across Airbnb experiences. I didn't even know what Airbnb accommodations was, but I found this experience. They were piloting Airbnb experiences in Lisbon and LA, I believe. And they might have had 30 experiences, 40 experiences out. So I picked up the phone and called them and I said, so what do I do to get it so I could have an experience in Alexandria, Ontario, a town of 5,000 people? And they explained, well, this is a pilot and we're not really taking new experiences and we'll call you back later. And I said, okay, I've just been blown off.
It happens.
Yeah. And I forgot about it. That was one summer. The following April, they called me up and said, okay, we're launching Airbnb experiences in Canada. And we have things called social impact experiences. So would you like to be our premier social impact experience in Canada?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. So long as it doesn't cost me too much, I'm good. And the bottom line was they brought out a video crew and took a video of our site and our experience. They launched us. They announced us at their big opening. And then suddenly the floodgates opened. We had more people coming by than we knew what to do with it. So that's when the business started taking off. And right now, that's about 60% of our revenues. So
I like the fact that you said it's 60% of your revenue and your other revenue streams. From where do you get it?
Yeah, I should have said 60% of the non-grant revenues.
Okay.
Because we do benefit from some government grants.
Okay.
So we're a not-for-profit organization, and we participate in Young Canada Works and Canada Summer Jobs. So we get interns and summer students coming here for their work experience.
So you have an advantage. You can benefit from your nonprofit status. That's good as well too. So I think so. You have
for people who are retired to understand that nonprofit doesn't mean to say you can't pay yourself.
Oh my God! Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Please say it louder. Say it louder one more time.
Non-profit doesn't mean to say you shouldn't pay yourself.
Thank you very much.
I'm fortunate in life. I'm not actually paying myself. I don't need to be paid because I've put away enough money that I can retire. But to run a non-profit organization, we pay salaries. I'm trying to grow the business, so I'm saying we're putting everything we have back into growth. And so that's how we have our intern here, because she's only partially funded by the government. She's doing she's setting up the management systems. She is my wife of the office. My wife doesn't want to run the business. She's running the business.
And you told me to as well. It's really nice the way you said it. I love the way you said it, that nonprofit doesn't equal not getting paid. I love that because you can have a good cause and you can still make a living out of it. I think so. You have how many employees do you have now, or intern and everything in total?
Sorry?
How many interns or colleague do you have right now?
We're currently interviewing for this summer's crop of interns. And I say summer because the program has changed. It now runs to the end of March next year. So really this year's crop, we have 5 positions we're interviewing for.
5 positions to fill. Mm-hmm. And yeah. How much do you have now?
Right now, we just have 1 intern.
Okay, perfect.
And now her internship finishes in a few days.
Okay.
It's all based on the fiscal year of the government because that's when the grants come around.
Perfect. That's really nice. So you're making money. You're profitable.
I had a thought, but it's gone. And it happens with old age. We were talking back earlier about Airbnb 60% of our revenues. I corrected that, saying 60% of our non-grant revenues. So anywhere between 1 to 5 people will be partially funded by the government. The other part of partially would be funded out of revenues, plus our operating costs are funded out of revenues and our growth. We're putting all of our efforts into growth.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing, Eric. Amazing. And yes, go ahead.
For a retired person wanting to run a business, and that's the thought. My whole life I ran for-profit organizations. And
for a nonprofit organization?
I ran for-profit.
Okay, for-profit and one nonprofit.
This is my only nonprofit.
Okay, perfect.
And my experience with for-profit was I was investing in the business. I would build the business up, and typically I would sell them after 5 years of running them. At that point, they got too big and too bureaucratic for my nature. So I figured, time for me to move on, give it to somebody else, and make a little money selling the business. So I would work for almost nothing for my business. I put my heart and soul into the business. And then when I sold the business, that's when I would sell my shares in the business and make money. So it became a capital gain, and we're into the tax issues. But with a not-for-profit business, nobody really owns the business. The business is a not-for-profit business. There are no shareholders. So that means as a not-for-profit business operator, the people running that kind of a business need to take out a salary if they need it, because there'll be no selling of the business. When you wind up a not-for-profit business, you're obliged by the law to donate the proceeds of the sale to a charity or other non-for-profit business.
Okay. Thank you.
You have to be aware of the tax laws, that's all.
Thank you for the precision. It's really important. That's right. You must be aware of the tax laws, that's for sure. And also another point that was brought up last time we were talking, it was that you created a safe place for your employee. Tell me a little bit more about that.
That's part of the governance. I would call it employment equity, if you will, where it's part of the respect for your employees. It just sort of goes along with what I said of the ethics and honor and your honorability. If you're ethical, you want a place that's safe for you to work. You got to make it just as safe for your employees, because everybody's equal here.
That's right. You don't need to say more. I totally understand. You're so right. I want to ask you one last question before we go to the Connect deck. You told me last time a fun story about you and your friend, your employee, with a communication. I want to say a communication problem, but I will say he's Japanese.
Oh, yeah.
You're Canadian.
Because I'm getting old and my hands are falling apart, so I don't teach anymore, and I don't do any production glass blowing. I really only do it for myself. So because of that, we hire glass blowers to do the teaching. And there's a gentleman glass blower from Japan, Tatsumi Koima. Phenomenal glass blower, unbelievable glass blower. To watch him blow glass is like watching a ballet. And I met him. He introduced himself to me at my studio, and it turns out that he does not speak very much English. He learned a little bit of French when he spent some time in France. And of course, he speaks Japanese. I don't speak any Japanese at all. I don't speak any French. I can understand a little bit of French, especially if it involves money. So when we get along great.
That's great.
We get along in two areas. When we're blowing glass, of course, we blow glass in Italian because everybody does. All the tools have Italian names. When they talk about a knife, it's a taglio. Italian.
I like the fact that you speak a little of each language, but the love, and the respect, everyone can understand that.
Mhm. Well,
Everybody can understand,
when,
and
when,
everybody can speak the
when
language of love and
When
respect.
Tatsumi and I communicate, it's really funny because I will ask him something in English. He will say it back to me as he understood it. And he'll sometimes be fishing for a word. So he'll mutter it under his breath in French because that's the only thing he can think about. And I'll hear it and I'll say, oh, then I'll translate it in my head and give it back to him. I can't speak the word in French, but I can. And so that's how we manage to get along. We get along great.
That's
Now,
for sure. That's for sure. That's for sure. This here, we have here the Connect deck from my friend Brendan Roy. He's from Northern Ontario as well. Like you're from Ontario. And so I have three colors. I have the teal color. So I will pick up one question from there. The yellow color, I'll pick up one question from there. And the red color, I will also pick up a question from there. Now, I will start with the teal one. I will ask you a question. If it's too boring for you, you can tell me to switch as well. First question. I feel most myself then blank space.
say that again.
I feel the most myself when blank space.
I feel when meditating.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I like that. Now we'll go to the yellow one. Can we see the yellow? Perfect. Here. Have you ever had a crush on a teacher? What attracted you to them? Something sayable, of course.
Maybe it's not politically correct, but are you talking about a sexual crush or a intellectual crush?
Intellectual crush, of course.
Oh, of course.
Of course, intellectual crush.
No. Yes, of course. I mean, and what attracted me to them?
Yes. Intellectually speaking.
His honor.
Wow! Oh my, Eric! You managed to make me really realize that you have all the answers all the time. Now, last question, a bit crunchier. Are you scared of death?
Nope.
Nope. That's it. One word. Wow.
Well, it's going to happen.
You're right.
So it's going to happen. I've had two near-death experiences. I had a heart attack.
Okay.
And then that was 20 years ago. And 2 years ago, I had bypass.
Okay.
So yeah, technically I was dead because I had to stop my heart to zip me open and do all that stuff. And both times I asked myself, well, I might not wake up from this. So when you face that devil once, it doesn't scare you anymore.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you 1,000 times. So we will end this interview. I want to thank the NISCA Leadership Center for this wonderful opportunity to make those inspiring interviews. I hope it will inspire as well a lot of people and a lot of mentoree, a lot of students to open an experience and to try to achieve their dream through create or hosting and touristic or even for local experiences as well. There's a lot to do with it. You can put all your soul into it. Thank you again, Eric. I hope I'll see you soon. And if I come to Ontario, I'll do your glass blowing experience for sure. I'll be coming there. I'm planning on coming to Ontario when the pandemic will end.
Well, it's just an interesting thought. Our teachers come from Montreal too.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Only an hour away.
I didn't know that. You know what? You just convinced me. Now I'm for sure. I'm coming. Maybe if he comes here to visit us, I'll come. I'll come with him. I'll accompany him to come back to see you over there. Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you.
Bye.